Alright, welcome back to the shop. Today we've gotten up early. It's about 7. We're in the lower 60s in the shop. Luckily the G2, if you remember in the unboxing, has to be applied between 56 and 70. It's one of those things, you prefer to get it right the first time. So it's been very hot here. It's actually 104 yesterday, which was a all-time record high for May. So needless to say, we're trying to get this done while the temperatures are still low, and ironically it is actually the coolest in the morning, not in the middle of the night. So go ahead, we will pop open our can. Based on what I see, it's looking pretty good. Remember, I'm trying to match the stripe color on a Mopar 10. If that's not what you're going for, we just got paint on ourselves. But if that is not what you're going for, I can still say that it's a pretty nice looking blue. It's not even stirred yet, so we'll go ahead. This vial, they said it's actually kind of be hard to open. I just tried it before we started the video. It twisted right off, so I guess we got lucky. But it looks like you just pour the entire contents of the vial into your little pint of paint here. So we're going to go ahead and do that, mix the reactor in. Do note that this can, it wasn't short filled. They mentioned this in the instructions. They actually do that so you don't make a mess, which obviously, since I've already gotten paint on myself, if you're like myself, you probably appreciate that. But now we'll take the popsicle stick and we will just come in and stir everything together. You can kind of feel the heavy material at the bottom, so it's nice for getting to stir this up. I did check yesterday. I do have several other brushes around, so I will probably make use of those as well. And remember, this paint has a shelf life of about 6 months. So if you pick this up in the winter wanting to get it done, don't wait until July to do it. And actually, that's probably ideal temperatures depending on where you live. But we'll go ahead. I'll try to hold this so you can actually see the blue kind of take color. Again, it looks pretty good in the can. Not sure it'll be an exact match, but I think it'll look pretty good with black. And like I said, if you're looking for a blue caliper paint, that'll kind of give you a rough idea. It's a little purple. Not sure the camera will pick that up, but hopefully, of course, once it's applied and dries and you get 2 coats, it'll be a true blue. So, but that in a nutshell is all you've got to do to get your G2 ready. As you can see, we've stirred it thoroughly. Got a nice color hue going. So now we will go apply it to the calipers and see what we think. Alright, this is right here in front. We've got 1 coat of our G2 blue caliper paint. You first apply it, it maintains that purple hue. It actually looks more purple in person than it does on the camera looking at the viewfinder. As you can see, it's actually dried. This has probably been on there well more than the 15 minutes. Actually migrated around the 4 discs of the car. But it's starting to kind of dry to a kind of a bright blue at this point. It's got a nice shine to it, you can see coming on. But we're going to go ahead, use a foam brush, get a second coat on. We'll probably come back in with a detail brush not provided in the kit and kind of hit the hard to reach areas. But again, this will give you an idea what the first coat of the G2 blue looks like. Alright, we've waited a little while, giving the paint time to dry between coats. Got our 2 coats touched up a little bit, and now we're actually going to come see what it looks like. You can see, like we said, multiple coats on it. The blue starts to come out, especially given a chance to dry and harden. There you can see the stripe with the caliper. It's actually pretty close. It's kind of hard to tell. You're in a dark wheel well and there's light on the fender, but I can probably see it a little better than the camera will pick up. But I mean, that is actually very close. So we're pretty happy with the color match. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but it's definitely blue. It's not purple. It's not a sky blue, so overall we can't complain. Of course, this is your left front. We'll migrate down the side of the car. You can see the left rear here. We tried to leave all the factory markings on, just in case. Coming back around, basically going to be the same thing every corner, but just in case there's different light or somebody wants to see it. Then lastly, we've got the passenger side front, and again there's a little different light. We're closer to the left bank here in the shop, so I mean you can tell pretty good in this angle, but it is fairly close. So again, overall we're pretty happy. This is the G2 paint caliper system, and alright, and it's also, like we said, it's been on several hours now. We'll go ahead, find a place in the back. It's actually hard to the touch. Again, you're not supposed to drive for 24 hours. You should hold off putting the wheels on for at least 2. That's 95 degrees in the shop, about 102 outside. That might have something to do with the drying time here for us, and again, humidity is about 15% or so. But if you're somewhere where it's cooler, you actually have moisture in the environment, give it a little more time. But I'd say this has been about 3.5 hours, so that gives you a rough idea. Of course, if you live in a desert or somewhere that's not a desert but really dry like here, you should be able to get the wheels back on within the 2 hours, and I think you can move it back and forth. I wouldn't take it on any long trips or anything though. Alright, here we are on the driver's side front. The G2 paint system is fully cured. It's hard to the touch. It's got the luster to it. It's hard to tell in the light, but like we said, it's a pretty good match for our stripe. But what I wanted to show you, just in case somebody did for some reason have their calipers off or was going with an aftermarket kit, this drum that you see down here is a VHT Blue. It's probably a bad example. It's been sitting in the shop for a while. Prior to that, it was on a duster for 4 to 5 years, sat outside for 2 to 3 of those. Held up great. That would mainly all come off. It's just dirt. We basically live in a desert here now, it seems like. But the main difference, if you can tell, the VHT is considerably darker. Again, I've had great luck with VHT. As you can tell, I mean, it held up great, being put through that much. Wasn't garage kept or anything. The car was driven really hard. Main thing is, like I said, the G2 kit, number one, we thought that it would match the stripe a little better, and number two, it's really weird for me to be working on a new car. I'm used to painting calipers that are replacement parts out of the box, so aerosol isn't a problem. The brush on worked great. The duplicate color, I feel like it wouldn't have been the best match for the stripe. But for some reason your calipers are off, or you want a darker blue, again, here's the VHT to compare. And like I say, most of you are going to keep your late model car in the garage, so you wouldn't have any of this wear. There's probably 2 pounds of dirt on this thing as well. But if you're wanting a bright blue, I'd go with the G2. If you want a darker blue, VHT. And again, the primary advantage for late model guys is your calipers are fine, they're on the car, and the G2 is a brush on kit. As always, check out Lone Star Mopar's online magazine for more information. Alright, we're wrapping up the G2 brake caliper paint. Got all the wheels back on while the front end is still up in the air. We wanted to go ahead and show you. Obviously the Mopar 10 center cap is a pretty good match for our stripe we've got front to rear. And so you can kind of see, just from the naked eye, it looks pretty dadgum close, especially through the camera. In person, the blue, it's not quite as bright as the Mopar blue, but Again, it's pretty hard to match this stuff. Just to give you an idea, there you get a better shot. That'll give you an idea what things look like, motion of the road and everything. But overall, I have to say we're pretty happy. We were trying to match the stripe, short of going to a paint shop and then having to try to get something in a high temp to live on the caliper. We would be out a ton of money, and by going about it this route, we've got something taken care of with the factory pieces. Definitely adds to the look of the car. Seems like something the factory, might have done, for each of the 3 stripe colors, but nonetheless, it is done now. Looks pretty good. We will see how it holds up. For more information, be sure to check out Lone Star Mopar's online magazine.